Now you gotta fix the door too.
What does this mean? Grandpa's always got to wear his glasses, dude.
There are 141 steps.
141 and you're on 32?
Yep.
But as soon as we
are not taking this to lunch. So shop update, covering you with stuff that's going on. So we got the crew over there that's working on the Tahoe. Big video on that or whatever coming next week. We got Milty over there on the ship. Well, it's not the Deuce Box. What's it called?
Deuce box.
Deuce Box. The Deuce Box. So the Durango, unfortunately, is getting alienated right now. And then we got 2.0 back here that's getting stuff done to it. So that's stuff we got going on at the shop. 6 summer sold out. So we got an update there that we want to basically bring the sick concept or whatever to your local track. So you definitely want to see that. And 1.0's out of here. We got back over to M1 and we send the toter. The toter's off to get wrapped. So you're going to have to guess what that's like. So that's what we got coming up in this video. Just a bunch of updates, no racing, but telling you what's going on in the shop. Thanks, guys. This message goes out to track owners, event planners, people that want to be involved in drag and drive. So we want drag and drive to continue to blow up even bigger than it's blowing up right now. We've sold out our 2 events coming up for the year. We've got 2 other events planned for the year. That's it. We want 1 per quarter. So now we want to help support the rest of the events out there. So if you want to have your local track, a Sick the Mag shootout or whatever at the Friday night race or the Saturday race, hey, contact us. We will help you put that stuff together. The good thing is that we have over 10,000 people visiting our site every day. So we have eyes that are on this stuff. We have our Facebook reach with it. We have our YouTube reach. And obviously we got the magazine. And people are subscribing to the magazine. They're loving seeing pictures of their car in the magazine. So do you want your event to be something that then ends up with pictures of some of the winners in the magazine? I mean, who wouldn't? So that's the benefit that we can give you by helping you with it. And the benefit we receive from it is the more eyes that are on the magazine, the more people are subscribed to the magazine. The more that's talked about, the more that it's common that we can build this as a big group. We already have the rules set in place. We've done the events to basically know how to do the events and prove how it's done. We can share that with you. You put on the event, you collect the money for it. We just want to help you make your event successful. So if you're a track owner, event planner, somebody looking to doing a drag and drive, reach out, info@sickthemagazine.com. Let us help you make your event successful with our outreach to the drag and drive community.
Well, I don't want to lose the wrench down in the door because I know that's the next thing that's going to happen. Okay. Right, get out the magnet. Come on, girl, tighten it. Ta-da! Thanks for stopping in for your warranty.
Sweet.
We were happy to oblige.
Oh yeah, much better.
Oh, that's much better.
They were just doing random checks. What were you doing? I don't know.
I was running the overflow hose from the expansion tank to the back of the car. Just happened to notice powder peeled up with rust underneath of it, and lo and behold, the top of the 4-link bracket's tearing out of the chassis.
So it's broke. Frame's broke. So what was supposed to be, they were supposed to just be waiting for some fitting so Bob could get back to work on the Durango. This is the reason why the Durango's taking so long, is Bob keeps finding other shit to do.
I could have left it.
So now, Craig Sullivan, broken 4-link brackets is what caused his car to wreck at the track over the summer in that beautiful 50 chop Merc or whatever that he's got. And is that 50 or 49?
I don't know. I
Okay.
don't know the difference. They
But-
look the same.
Cool.
Close enough.
Yep. And when they're wrapped and they're all made out of carbon, then I suppose it doesn't matter
It's
which
a
one you're looking at.
2021 or whatever it is. Yeah.
But either way, that's what causes wrecks. So I mean, it's stuff like that that has to be gone through and double checked all the time. And just lucky that Bob came across it, because that for sure would have reared its head very well at sick week, guaranteed.
Yes, it would have.
So
And
based
that's
on
why
where it
we're
was
chasing
at.
the rear
So,
end of the car too.
But,
You may not need 2 flats of preload.
so,
You might be able to take a little bit out and keep you going the same direction.
which also explains what happened to Sullivan's. They kept messing with the preload because it was off and they couldn't get the car to go straight. And then lo and behold, it had ripped the brackets off or whatever. But-
And that is in a terrible. I couldn't ask for a worse spot to have to do a repair. With
So,
as tiny
so
as
needs to
this
say
car
now
is.
the tub is ripped out. It's gone way backwards.
Yes, it has.
Tub's laying on the ground. Obviously, I mean, those are riveted in. They're not, I mean, the tubs aren't Zeused in. They're in there permanently. So they're sealed in there and everything to try and keep the smoke and the rubber from out of the car. So it's a mess when you disassemble the car that far to do that. But
Welded in tin work is in the way. You couldn't ask for a worse place. You better get in there and see where that is so they know, because it completely sucked.
there you go. She's over here now.
I'm over here now. I was over there. Now I'm over here. That's a professional.
Here's the broken area with the tin welded in that I had to beat out of the way. This cracked up around here and goes up and over the top and runs across the top of that bar. So now we're going to, I welded it, and now I'm going to do a clamshell type repair around what I can get around and on top of to somewhat double the wall.
And Bob, you said this always happens on the driver's side. So the question is
That's what
why?
I've always seen it.
Do you know why?
This tire drives the most, I think. That's why we're taking and putting preload in it too. Is that why? Maybe I'm talking shit. I don't know. Maybe it's the other way. This one drives the hardest. That's why the car always goes to the left. So we're trying to preload it and get this tire to drive harder. So I don't know. Just seems that every time I've seen this, it's always driver's side. I don't know
So-
what Sullivan's was, but
Yeah, I don't know. Pastor, and actually, I think his was tearing off the housing part, I guess. So it's like
Oh.
it wasn't on the chassis; it was the housing, I believe.
yeah, I'm
But
not a chassis setup guy, so
So-
I don't know why it's.
Either way, the
particularly
passenger
this
side
way.
seems fine. All of that seems good. It's
Yep.
only on the driver's side that needs fixed. But
Yeah. And thankfully, it was powder coated because it held water probably on your drag week drive and rusted, and that's how I saw it. Because powder was peeling off. Water got behind it, showed me where the brake was. So, it'll be fixed today and going back together.
so there you go. More shit. All right, so we're over at Matt's shop, dropping off the toter for a little detail. So suffice to say, we'll let you see what it turns out like when it's done. When we get it back out of here. Good thing is all the chrome on the bottom makes most of the stuff pretty straight.
So I know what we can do the sides first, see how it looks, and then you just Photoshop it.
Right. Like I said, that's the only part I'm curious about is like
Okay.
the middle, like to bring them together. Whether you do it right down the middle,
Okay.
or do you make it to where it's black to where. And the only reason I say that is because like if you look at it on an angle
Yeah,
from
I'm
this
thinking
side,
where
and
we
just
keep this to match the front of the car,
right.
and then we split it. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't know what that line looks like. Like in my eyes, there was a better line, but like when I look at it now, there's not like a good line. But that's where, because like even if the bumper was all the way around,
And
and then
take it from like here and then run it down.
right that way, if it doesn't have the trailer,
Sure.
then you got that part of it. But if it's, and that's where maybe the front ends up split, and this ends up front of the trailer ends up because maybe it's better.
Yeah.
All right, so Elderbrock sent us this badass supercharger that we are putting on the Tahoe that you learned about in the last video. So that is going on. We got Aiden and EJ are the ones actually doing the project. So they have the intake off. So what step number? It was 32 before. What step number are we up to?
Probably on about 36 by now.
So step 36, and there was 160 steps?
142 maybe.
140.
There's a couple in there for sure.
So 142 steps, and they are on step 36. So, is that right? 36?
Halfway through 36.
What, halfway through 36. So that's Tahoe, but they're going to give there'll be a fuel that B's got the GoPros going or whatever to give you a full thing on whatever. Them putting that in. So Bobby was given orders he has to stay away from it and not help. So other than moral support, that's all Bobby's helping them with. So then you got Milt that the ship box is, the deuce box is coming together. Milt, what the hell are you doing? So clipping down fire alarm lines. So that's where they're at with the mags. Obviously you gotta give it the mag, but the mag fire suppression system. So the system didn't go off last time, but the bottles, you guys have probably seen the bottles before, but they, the old bottles are that's the good one. Barely rubbed through when it was up on its roof. Still got a little stuff in it. And there's a good one, rubbed all the way through. So we got the new mags fire bottles going in there, and we did change how they're mounted. So that's one thing that the fire bottles before were mounted up here on top of this bar. It's the same chassis with the new body on it, but they were up on top of the bar. Well, we didn't anticipate Aiden being on the lid, so therefore it rubbed through the bottles. So now change the mounting location so down below, and then he's routing all the hard lines and everything for it, but that's better location, so if it goes on the roof, then the fire system should hopefully still be functional. So you learn stuff the hard way sometimes, but that's what we learned. All right, so back from PRI, we got 2.0 back. We got everything together for there, but then we go there, and then Peterson Pumps, who's taken care of me for years, but then we showed them kind of the way that we change stuff around, and they want us to change it, so we're waiting for some fittings, but I guess I'll take you through what they wanted us to do and the way that we had it. And I mean, they basically said that if it's working, then go with it, but it was only working that we were able to put it together and then drive it in the show and drive it out. So as you know, last stuff when I talked about the cooling, and with the oil though, we were coming out, it's a dry sump system. So this is one of those a little bit technical videos, but it'll help you guys understand some of it. But a dry sump means that all our oil is kept in this tank here. So when the engine is running, the oil is being pulled from here from the pump. So it's not stored down in the oil pan. Now it all still drains to the oil pan. So what we're doing is basically we have our evac side of the pump. So we're pulling out of the oil pan. We're also pulling out of the bottom of the turbos. We're pulling out of the back of the lifter valley, and all of that is being vacuum sucked out. And we had it going from there. We had it running through out the evac, through the cooler, and then back into the tank, which we were coming into the tank right here. And then we were going from the pump, we were pulling it out of the bottom of the tank on the other side, the pressure side of the pump. So we were pulling out the bottom of the tank, we were pressurizing it, running it through an oil filter, and then we were feeding all the oil to the system. So basically to the engine, turbos, anywhere that has an oil requirement. So what they said is there would be a lot of air in the vacuum side that we were now pushing through the cooler, so it wouldn't be the best way to cool the oil and keep the oil cool. So what they want us to do, and we're waiting for the lines to do it, but is that they want us to come out of the, so we're coming out of the tank, we're going into the pump, we're going through the filter, we're going to go through the cooler, and then we're going into the engine. So now the evac side is basically coming, it's evacing all the ports and then going right into the canister. So that's a difference, but it made all of our lines change. And then with these crimp-on fittings, like all the stuff, we basically, with doing everything we did, we used up our inventory of stuff. So now we're waiting for stuff. It's holidays, so we're waiting for that stuff to happen. That, I mean, you can see part of it here, that now we're coming to the pump, and then it is running through the filter. That'll run through the cooler, and then out of the cooler, and then into the engine, so to pressurize the system. So that's the way they recommended, so we figured it'd be best if we followed that. So at the same point, Bob found a crack in the frame, so back on the 4-link, and that's covered in here somewhere. We were trying to do this stuff while they were at lunch, so now you got everybody else that stands around watching.
Don't get nervous. We won't make fun.
Yep, I'm totally nervous now that you guys are watching. So,
Totally nervous.
but and then we got some wiring updates to do. So literally, the stuff like this and the little things and the waiting for parts is delaying the Durango project, because now Bob's stuck messing with all this stuff and getting all this stuff right. And he's got the tub glued back in now, so glue is drying. I unplugged this fan, but oh, look at all those clean rivets now, nice and silver. So
No burned up rivets.
but I think that's it, Bob, on this to get it done right. Then we got to go to dyno with it, which was supposed to be a couple weeks ago, but keep pushing it back to get a base tune on the APHIS injectors that are in there, and then it'll be ready to go to Florida. There's some other stuff with the wastegates that we're going to change around, and went back and forth on that. So we're actually holding off on that change, at least for right now. I mean, maybe before it goes to Florida, but that's what we got going on with 2.0.